Hi there. My name is Scott Miner Smith, an instructor here in the Communicating Arts Department at the University of Wisconsin-Superior. I'm not actually on campus, of course. Like so many of you, I am stuck at home, and I wish you and your families the best during this strange and difficult time. If you're watching this, you're most likely at a stage where you're curious about online courses and perhaps wondering if online is right for you. I think ultimately that's a question that only you can really answer. But I can give you my insight and advice after over a decade of online teaching experience. And to help, I can tell you who my students are, what you need to take an online class, and show you what my online courses look like. It might help you in your decision to know who my students are, and maybe you'll see yourself in what I share. My students might be students working on completing a degree they started years ago, or maybe they're students who do their homework when their kids go to bed at night, or have time to take classes now that their own kids are grown, and some are grandparents. They're students who work full-time or more than full-time and want to pursue their degree, which they may be doing 3 or 6 credits at a time. They're 18, they're 34, they're 53, they're 65, they're every age in between. They're from Madison and Minneapolis and Chippewa Falls and California, Pennsylvania, sometimes Europe, Asia. They're often students who let me know that they're terrified of technology, but soon learn that all you really need to do is be able to have the ability to stream videos, write papers, sometimes download an app, or record a video with your phone. So you don't need to be a tech whiz, and it's all right if you do feel nervous about using technology. This is practice, and not only are you taking classes, you're learning valuable skills that'll make you more effective in whatever you choose to do. As a teacher, I am continually grateful for how much I learn from my students every semester from these incredibly rich and diverse classrooms. And as students share and explore their experience and insights, I use those thoughts and ideas as well as the questions they ask to add new and relevant content to future weeks, and in doing so, rebuild the class for the next students. You, the students, co-create the class each semester. But enough talk, let me show you what an online course can look like and some cool things that we do in some of my courses. So let's go virtual. At the University of Wisconsin-Superior, we use Canvas as our learning management system, which is one way to say that we do our courses through Canvas, which you can get through the UW website. Come in here, log into Canvas. Once we get in, we go and see our dashboard here, which lists all of our courses, our to-dos over here, and our calendar invites. Yours would look a little bit different given that you're a student. I'm going to go into my COM 110 course, and it's also really important to know that Canvas makes a student learning app, which makes it super easy to track and keep track of your classes. It gives you calendar updates when announcements comes out, things like that. This is my COM 110 course. Over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see the navigation where you see home that brings you to this screen, announcements like you see here. It also appears right here in the front. Assignments, discussions, grades, see your grades and track them as you go through, and the syllabus. So if you click on the syllabus, for example, you'll see here all the course information that's provided. In this course, we use an OER, which is an open educational resource. So you can click on this link, for example, to get the full textbook for free, which is great. We do this campus-wide for the COM 110 course. But back home, and again, you're going to see over here on your right, to-dos, what's coming up, things like that. View course calendar. You can go in and see things that are coming up for the course immediately in there, which keeps this really nice and organized for you. I think Canvas is a really, really great learning tool. So I'm just going to go back here, and then I'll briefly just talk about how a course is organized. Here you're going to see that courses are organized by modules. And I really am not a big fan of that word. However, what it really means is folders or chapters in a sense. I like to think of my classes as books where we are writing the class as we go and telling a story that is in part created by you, the student. So as you look through here, you'll see all these gray boxes are modules and these are underneath. So you can collapse these, for example, and it just makes it easier to organize. And as we get down here, I've textbook resources. I've created audio versions of the text for students to use if they're driving, things like that. And you'll see that each week is named, and it tells you the days that it starts and it stops. And each week is released every Tuesday, and you have all week till the following Tuesday to complete your assignments, and they're always due at 11:59 p.m. And you can see as you log in for week 1, for example, here I've posted a course welcome. It'll talk about what's going on for the week. Here's things that you need to pay attention to. I ask students right up front things about them so I can understand where technology and people are comfortable so that I know what I can help best with throughout the class. I talk about the text, ask you to read, and then I ask students the first week to do a word cloud and introduction assignment, which I'll show you in a minute here. So one of my new favorite activities that I think is really interesting is the radioactive waste activity. Sounds super fun, right? Dr. Chad Volrath, my colleague, introduced this to us, and I just have thought it was such an interesting exercise, so I adapted it for online. And in this class for week 2, I ask you to come up with a sign to put over a nuclear waste site for future humans to find and decipher. And within the framework that civilization has been lost. And it's a really fun and creative activity that has incredibly surprising and fun results. And then I ask students to share that in the discussion after that and talk about what they posted, why they chose it, and then also do a reflection on the activity. It turned out great, and I'm really excited to take what I know now and incorporate that into the class moving forward. So another activity that I do in class that I think is pretty interesting is the demonstration speech. Now, how do you do a speech online? Well, what I have my students do in this course is to submit a demonstration speech in a YouTube format. So not only are we looking and learning about demonstration speeches, but we're also learning how to integrate and use technology. And I'll show you that anything that I ask you to do in class, I provide help for. And when you have questions, I work really hard to get back to you and create new directions that reflect your questions, because if you have a question, so does someone else. You'll see here that this is a guide for uploading YouTube videos that has been created over several different semesters based on questions, feedback, what works and what doesn't. And through this, I teach you step by step how to create and upload YouTube videos, which we're seeing is so important right now when we're relying so heavily on technology. That includes filming, framing, those types of things, and then different ways that you can upload. And I try to make it as easy as possible so that the technology gets out of the way for you, the student, so you can engage in your learning. And so in doing things this way, we're engaging the use of technology and learning new skills, as well as practicing for speaking when it's going to matter later in life. Okay, so here we are in my conflict class. You'll notice that it is set up very much the same, with the tools maybe a little bit different, syllabus, but everything over here and the navigation is exactly the same. And each week I post an announcement. Like I said, in the other courses, it follows very similar format. I post them at the same time. This posts every week, which is I think of as my lecture, and also incorporate multimedia that you can watch or read based on your preference, or even just listen to. Some weeks we watch TED Talks or outside videos. Some weeks we listen to a podcast and then engage in reflection or discussion. about the topics and engaging those from different ways that I think lead to some fascinating places. So in the second week of my communication and conflict class, I asked students to submit words and create a word cloud. This semester, what I did a little bit differently was collect all those words and create our own word cloud as a class. So you'll see here that this is a word cloud, and the bigger the word, the more times that it was used by students. So this is a really nice way to think about reflecting on what we know and how we think about things collaboratively as students, and what experiences we bring to it and what we have in common. And at the end of class, we're going to look at this and see how it's changed, and in our final paper, reflect on those changes and what ideas and concepts affected those changes. All right. Let's go back outside. In considering if online is right for you, think about what is manageable for you, and maybe you want to start with just a class or two, or you could jump in full time. I'll tell you though that it's important to find a balance that works for you and your life. And as you get started, you can adjust to find that balance. The online classroom, like any classroom, is what you make of it, what you bring to it, how you engage it, and the time you invest in it. It's a place where engagement looks different and is experienced differently, and you can sit anywhere in the world while you're doing it. I hope you find this video helpful in considering how you will pursue your education. Just remember that if you're a student who is new to online learning, you're not alone. And if it makes you nervous, that's perfectly all right. Taking any step forward means taking a chance on ourselves. Scott M. Peck once said something to the effect that any growth requires a temporary loss of security, which I think rings true in pursuing education in any format. I think you'll find that the online world here at UW Superior consists of a wide range of ages, experiences, and voices, and a place where you'll find connection in unexpected places. We all have a story to tell and a voice that needs to be heard. So however you do it, I hope you achieve those goals because your voice is so important. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. I wish you the best.